My ultimate guilty pleasure when it comes to movies and media are chick flicks. Huge successes like Legally Blonde, Clueless, Mean Girls, or Freaky Friday immediately come to mind. But what if I told you there was one 2000s movie that was not only hated on from the start, but then ignored and left to be consumed by the sands of time? And that's no other than Wild Child, a 2008 teen comedy chick flicky coming-of-age movie starring Emma Roberts. Upon release, it received mixed reviews from critics and was largely dismissed by audiences, and is currently boasting a fabulous rating of 38% on Rotten Tomatoes and 6.1 on IMDb. The movie was released in UK theaters, but went directly to DVD in the US a year later. Nobody cared about this film. But if Wild Child has 100 fans, I am one of them. If Wild Child has 0 fans, I am dead. This video obviously contains spoilers, even though the movie itself is as predictable as a traffic light. Still, if you're into bad chick flicks, you should probably go watch it like right now and then come back to hear me glaze the shit out of this movie. Wild Child follows a 16-year-old Poppy Moore, a typical self-absorbed Barbie girl from Malibu, California. On the surface, Poppy has everything. She's rich, hot, popular, with no regard for anything, and also a total bitch. She only really cares about her little sister, who is completely irrelevant in the whole movie. Like, I really don't know why she's here, other than to let the audience know that Poppy's dad is a single parent, and the movie opens on the day that their new stepmom is moving in. Yeah, forgot to mention, Poppy's mom died, and she never really forgave her dad for moving on, so I guess that explains why Poppy is such a massive cunt. Anyway, Poppy decides to become the live-action version of Joker and pulls a tiny little prank on her dad, which gives us this iconic scene. I can see that most of the budget went to 4 seconds of this top-tier CGI. Poppy's dad gets angry.
Fuck you, asshole.
And sentences Poppy to a lifetime in prison. No, just kidding. He sends her into boarding school in England, which to Poppy is about the same thing. By the way, it really surprised me how fast this film moves and how little context it provides for Poppy's relationship with her dad, with her stepmom, and Poppy's life in LA in general. We are barely 6 minutes into the movie and the storyline has already jumped 5,000 miles. There is a deleted scene that lets us see Poppy's stepmom and why Poppy is the way she is, and it really annoys me that they kept it out of the full movie. Moving on, Poppy is shipped off to Abbey Mount in England, an all-girls boarding school that Poppy's mom also apparently attended. Here we get the first glimpse of mostly all the important characters. First, head girl Harriet, the villain of the movie, played by Georgia King, who does such a great job on the character, by the way. Then there's Kate, who's supposed to be Poppy's big sister and show her the ropes. Later in the dorm room, we see the rest of Kate's and what's soon to be Poppy's friend group, Josie, Kiki, and Drippy. From minute 1, Poppy is an absolute brat. But since the movie can't end 10 minutes in, Poppy still hangs around the girls. And we get introduced to Freddie, the headmistress's son, and also only boy who sometimes comes by the campus. I surely wondered who the love interest is gonna be. Also, this scene,
what we're about to receive. Nom ring gai kai, nom ring yi ki.
Yeah, you can really tell this movie was made in 2008. By now, Poppy's been in the boarding school for 2 weeks, and she decides to sneak out after lights out and writes a pretty nasty email to her best friend Ruby back in LA, and spots Drippy, her now kind of friend, also sneaking out for a late night snack. This is a super obvious random insert, so you know it's gonna be important later. The next day, Freddie does a drive-by, cause I guess he can. Like, I don't know what this guy is up to. Do you not have a job or something? And it becomes pretty obvious that Harriet has a tiny little crush on Freddie. Probably, I don't know, not obvious enough. Meanwhile, all Poppy wants to do, and what the main plot of the movie is, she wants to get expelled and to go home. Eventually, Kate and Poppy have a bit of a heart-to-heart, and they devise a plan to get Poppy expelled. This, of course, entails pranks. Because of course it does. I mean, how the fuck did they even do this? My personal favorite is them signing Harriet up for a phone hotline. It's actually pretty funny.
Regulation uniform. Skirt just below the knee. Of course. They are a simple polyester. Sturdy and practical. No, I have certainly not been naughty. My disciplinary record is exemplary. Are you okay?
By now, Poppy is making a genuine connection with the girls and is getting more and more accustomed to a completely new way of life. Still though, none of the pranks work, cause why the fuck would they? So the next plan is for Poppy to hook up with Freddie because
fraternizing is forbidden.
And that would really piss off the headmistress. There's a prom type party coming up and the girls go shopping for outfits in a charity store, and we got our mandatory 2000's unskippable clothes try-on transformation montage. Also, Poppy goes back to her natural hair color, stripping herself of the final bits of her Malibu Barbie identity. Shout out Trisha Paytas. So the dance comes along, the outfit reveal is iconic as always, and the clothes are, well, very 2008. Anyways, the plan fails and Freddie has to leave for a bit, giving Poppy enough time to somehow become lacrosse team captain. Yeah, turns out her mom was also lacrosse team captain, so I guess that's how that works. Fast forward, Freddie comes back and their relationship turns actually genuine, making Poppy second guess herself if getting expelled is actually something she wants to do. Unfortunately, Poppy forgot to log herself out of a PC in the computer room, so someone doctors an email she sent to Ruby and gives it to her friends and Freddie. So everybody hates Poppy now. At night, in her sorrow, Poppy accidentally sets fire to some curtains, manages to put it out, but oh no, actually, the whole school is now on fire. Poppy remembers Droopy's snack times, told you it would be important, rescues her, and her grand prize is getting sent in front of the school's court. Poppy now has to defend herself from getting expelled, and she is damn near to getting thrown out, but Harriet accidentally tells on herself. So, case closed, Poppy stays. And the movie ends with a happy ever after. Poppy becomes normal, dates Freddie, her friendships are restored, her team wins the lacrosse final, and Harriet takes a massive L. What makes Wild Child so good, quietly, and definitely accidentally, is that it represents the end of an era. Released in 2008, it sits right at the edge of a massive cultural shift. It came out when Facebook wasn't at its peak, Instagram wasn't even released yet, and everyone's grandma did not have a TikTok account. And I think that's why Wild Child hits the way it does now. I love Wild Child because it captures something that we've just lost. Not just the fashion or the music or the classic tropes of that era, but rather a way of living and growing up that no longer exists. Back when social media hadn't fully taken over yet, and when the awkward teen, preteen era still existed, the film depicts the struggles and challenges of being a teenager while growing up in 2008. And God, does it feel different to how we see kids grow up nowadays. Due to the impact of social media and growing societal pressure, younger and younger kids feel forced into feeling the need to grow up faster than they should, skipping the awkward discovery era completely. You can even see it in Poppy, the way she has built up a whole fake personality, the way she has shaped her entire appearance to fit into the LA rich girl mold, something she probably has seen and copied from her peers. And as the story progresses and we peel back more and more layers, we start seeing Poppy for who she is. Just a kid who's still finding herself and realizing she doesn't have to put up this fake image of herself to be loved or accepted. I would argue that it's much harder for kids to have that natural progression nowadays because social media has set an expectation to act and look a certain way to fit in. Kids made a bunch of mistakes and wore teal skinny jeans because we thought they looked good. And then everyone just moved on. If a child dares to act like a child, you are getting posted on a TikTok cringe compilation wall of shame. Even though, let's be real, the shit we were doing as preteens was the exact same. Like, since when did it become acceptable to post children having fun onto cringe comps? Like, why are we making fun of a literal child for having fun at your grown age? I made Little Us Pet Shop videos until I was 16 and only stopped because my peers and literal grown adults told me it was cringe and childish. To this day, I regret stopping because it was something that genuinely brought me so much happiness. Anyways, I really think cringe is good and we need more of it. Watching Wild Child now is kind of like pressing play on a memory you don't actually have. And for a lot of people, including me, it's definitely a comfort movie. And not because it's good in a technical sense, because let's be for real, it's absolutely not, but it's because it's familiar. It reminds me of sleepovers, burning CDs, watching movies on DVD players, and texting on my keypad phone. There's just something really warm and grounding about that, especially now when everything just feels so fast and high stakes and a bit fake. Wild Child offers a flashback to a time that just felt easier. Even the way the story itself is told feels nostalgic, even it clearly wasn't meant to. It's dramatic, full of outdated slang and cringy jokes, and doesn't try to do anything grand or complex. It's just straightforward. Like you know what's coming before it even happens. The makeover, the mean girl, the softening of the main character, the love interest, but it just works. It works because it's predictable. It's like comfort food. You don't watch Wild Child to be surprised. You watch it to feel something warm and easy and a bit stupid. To remember what it was like to be 16 and really annoying and how the world just felt so small. That's why I think people return to it now. Not just as a meme or a reference point for Y2K fashion, but because it lets them feel a version of teenagehood and girlhood when being loud and weird was completely normal, and you were still finding your people for the first time. Wild Child is also incredibly easy to watch. The stakes feel real, but also not overwhelming. It doesn't really rely on intense drama or hyper-stimulation to keep your attention. And it feels refreshing when you compare it to today's media, like Euphoria, where something insane happens every 2 milliseconds.
Who's Jewel?
What the fuck, man?
The only thing that really bothers me about this movie is how dirty they did my girl Harriet. She is not a good person by any means and almost as stuck up and entitled as Poppy. But when the movie starts off, the two of them are equally as unlikable. The only thing really setting them apart is that Poppy is portrayed as conventionally attractive. She's skinny and tiny, fits the beauty standard, she likes fashion and beauty, and Harriet, well, she just isn't. Harriet likes academics, hunting, sports, art. The movie almost portrays her interests and appearance as off-putting and strange. They are both insufferable, but every single character in the movie shows Poppy kindness and gives her one second chance after another. It just feels all too similar to what we now call pretty privilege. How people often think of conventionally attractive individuals as morally superior or more likely to be a good or smart person than those who don't fit the beauty standard. Honestly, it's not that deep, but after rewatching Wild Child for like the 400th time, it just stuck out to me and made me feel a bit icky. So no, Wild Child isn't underrated in the sense that it was secretly brilliant and nobody noticed it. I'm sure that in 2008, the critics were correct to label this one a hot mess. The characters are pretty 2D, the storyline is super predictable, the acting isn't all that great, but to me it's just one of those movies that has aged like fine wine. And now, almost 20, I can't believe I'm saying that, almost 20 years later, it has become a glimpse into a time that I'm sure tons of people miss. Not just 2008, but a time that just felt simpler. Because nostalgia works in funny ways. I wasn't a teenager in 2008, but for some reason, I feel so connected to that specific time period. God, I miss the 2008 financial crisis. Take me back. But I'm gonna be so real with you, if Wild Child were made today, it would not have the same effect on me. For that movie, there was a right time and place, and they hit the nail right on the head, is all I'm saying. And don't ask me why this specific movie does it for me. Maybe it's because it's much less well-known and niche than giants like Mean Girls, even though technically they should be making me feel the same. Maybe I've just developed a creepy, unhealthy attachment to this movie. I don't know. I don't really care. All I know is when I'm sad, this movie starts playing. So if you still haven't, the next time you want to turn off your brain and be transported to 2008 for an hour and a half, you should probably go watch Wild Child. Or don't. I don't know. It's like whatever.